So I've been wanting to talk about Miraculous Ladybug for a while. Back in the day, they hyped up the show by releasing an animated music video for it that was really cool, and I was on the bandwagon. And eventually, a 3D cartoon was released, chronicling the adventures of two Parisian teenagers, Marinette and Adrien, as they juggled their daily lives with being superheroes, Ladybug and Cat Noir. It's kind of like Spider-Man but in Paris instead of New York, and I was on board. However, after the show running for 8 years, I can't help but feel dissatisfied. While the show has great concepts, fun characters, and pretty great action, the show has a bad habit of dragging things out for years, along with constantly faking out the audience, and pretty much being so devoted to the status quo that they basically refuse to let things progress organically. They'll even go out of their way to regress the story and characters, to the point where it ends up being character assassination in some cases. One of the biggest selling points in the show, and one of the main reasons why it became so popular in the first place, is what's known as the love square. Basically, Marinette and Adrien are superheroes, but they don't know each other's secret identities. So Marinette has a crush on Adrien, but she doesn't like Cat Noir, his alter ego, while Adrien has a crush on Ladybug, but just sees Marinette as a friend. This causes a lot of drama as the two pine after each other and constantly reject each other without realizing that they're the one that they love to begin with. And it's pretty engaging, until it goes on for 5 seasons and they keep resetting the timeline or erasing memories, and do whatever they can to avoid actually revealing their identities to each other. It's pretty frustrating. There's also a lot of filler, and it got to a point where I wasn't really keeping up with the seasons and just tuning in when something interesting was happening. Season 5 finally wrapped up the first story arc after 8 years and 5 seasons, and I wasn't too crazy with how it ended, which was pretty disappointing. So when I heard Zagtoons was producing a Miraculous movie separate from the regular continuity, my interest was piqued. The film recently premiered on Netflix, and it's a really fun watch. The film has a noticeable upgrade in animation quality, with everyone getting a subtle redesign that really lends to their characters. The city also feels richer, with a lot more people on the streets. There are often times in the show where they won't even bother to put background characters in, so the locations feel empty. So I appreciate that they went all out for this movie. The animation and art style change is beautiful. It's also a musical, and while I don't think I'll be putting any of the songs on my playlist, I did enjoy them for what they were, although I don't really think the movie needed to be a musical, but it was still cute. I am surprised that they used different actresses for Marinette's speaking and singing voice though. Christina V, her usual voice actor, is a professional singer, and while Marinette's singing voice is lovely, it's a noticeable difference from her speaking voice. I am going to be going over spoilers, not just for the movie but for the show too, so keep that in mind if you want to continue watching the video. I do like how Marinette and Adrien are portrayed overall in this film. In the show, Marinette's crush on Adrien causes her to be so awkward and clumsy that she can't even talk to him. This often leads to a lot of uncomfortable situations, and she'll often leer at him and sometimes straight up stalk him. Meanwhile, Adrien can also be pretty weird in his crush on Ladybug. He's also extremely clueless, but here their chemistry both in and out of the masks feels very believable and natural. The film handled Ladynoir really well. The scene where they were play fighting and their duet was adorable. They had such good chemistry that it kind of overshadowed Adriennette, to the point where I couldn't help but feel like she might as well just go with Cat Noir instead of trying to pursue Adrien. They had cute moments too, but it felt like it was mostly during the montage, so it was harder to appreciate it. But overall, it was a really cute romance and they could actually act like normal teenagers. Marinette is still awkward and clumsy, but here she's able to look him in the eye and have a conversation with him, which took her seasons to do in the original show. Plus, she's not a stalker here, so that's good. Tiki was really cute too. I also really liked how Adrien was portrayed. Here he's a lot more somber and angsty than he usually is in the show, and uses his headphones to tune out the world, and I think it worked for what he was going through, although I was disappointed that they really glossed over him becoming Cat Noir. While Marinette is shown earning her Miraculous, Adrien just gets his, and that's kind of it. The next time we see him, he's just Cat Noir. On top of that, Plagg was largely reduced to a fart joke, which was pretty disappointing. I like Plagg as a character, even with his faults, and we just didn't get much from him. He just felt flanderized. Yeah, he likes to eat stinky cheese, but that's basically all he did here, and it was a lot worse than in the show. I know it's a kids movie and fart jokes are considered easy laughs, but it came at the expense of Plagg's character, and we didn't get to see Adrien's call to action. I also would have liked to see more scenes between Adrien and Gabriel. It did feel like the first half of the film was very Marinette centered, and it would have been nice if they had fleshed out Adrien's story and relationships more, especially since the finale is pretty focused on him and Gabe. That being said, I do think Gabriel was handled very well and is probably one of the best aspects of the movie. In the show, he's basically basically a monster who is horrifyingly abusive, and then they try to convince us that he was redeemed in the end and try to praise him as some kind of hero. Yeah, not really. Here, on the other hand, his character was handled very well, and he actually takes on that tragic figure type of character he was supposed to be. The loss of his wife causes him to go to extreme measures, and ends up distancing himself from everyone in his life, including Adrian. And it gets to a point where he believes he has nothing left to lose, so he allows himself to fall to darkness and practically destroy Paris. But in the fight, he ends up revealing that Cat Noir is Adrian, and this revelation makes him realize that he does still have something to lose and something to live for. So he calls off the attack, whereas in the show, when he finds out that Cat Noir is Adrian, he decides to use it to his advantage and ends up being abusive both emotionally and physically. So it was hard to sympathize with him in the end. Luckily, the movie chose a different route, and seeing the two reconcile and bond was really sweet. Admittedly, Emily's ghost showing up was a little cheesy, especially given how big it was compared to the boys, but still sweet. The movie ends with Marinette and Adrian going to a ball that had been hyped up throughout the film. Everyone's wearing really pretty outfits and Marinette looks gorgeous. She and Adrian have a heart-to-heart, where she reveals that she's Ladybug, which gives us closure to the love square, and it doesn't immediately get reset, which was really nice. Unfortunately, they do cut to black before they actually show them kissing, but I did think the ending was still satisfying. Then we get a final stinger where Gabriel tells Natalie his deepest secret, that he has Emily's body in the basement. Except unlike in the show, she's just lying on a bed of flowers instead of being in a tube. She also has the Peacock Miraculous, which is probably setting up for a sequel, which I would love to see. Overall, I had a really good time with this movie. It basically gave me everything I wanted to see, and I would recommend it. So those are my thoughts on Miraculous Ladybug Awakening. Have you seen the film? Did you enjoy it? How do you think it compares to the show? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Before I go, I want to give a shout out to @punk91328472 on Twitter, or X now, I guess, for this cool piece of fan art. Thank you so much. It's really lovely. I would also like to give a shout out to our members: Stutania, Tyrant Carnivore, Shiny Orc Boy, The Rabbit Mancer, General Bolivar, Depth Charge Media, Samaru163, Gabby Hime, Verdant Range, JVR, Hussyman42, Nixel, Phil C, Taylor Ramirez, Caleb Nelson, Dakari the Professor, Equestron, Norman Sweetcream, Way Beyond Coincidence, Garcia XV Legend, Hunter Rose, 80s Nostalgia Guy, Felix Bam, Soundboy00, Owen Wildish, Player Zero, Kitsune Fiora, Lucas Geist, Dana Dine Executive, Jade Draws, Ninja Rex, Blue Spirit, Bandito Bane, Lil, Meowsers, Sky, Jinkays E, and Philip. Thank you all so much for your support. If you want to become a member, you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content. And that part's free. We also have Buy Me Coffee if you want to support us that way. It's linked in the description. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.